You know the dream of passive income, right? I mean, we've all seen it. The idea that you can make money while you're asleep or on a beach somewhere, basically while you're doing anything but working. But what if most of what's being sold to you as passive income isn't a dream at all? What if it's actually just a trap? A second job that you never even wanted? This is the sales pitch. Do the work once, get paid forever. You've seen it a million times on YouTube thumbnails and from all those online course gurus. And look, it sounds amazing, right? But that simple promise, it usually hides a reality that's a whole lot more complicated. And that's really the question we need to ask. What's the hidden cost? Because once you peel back the layers of hype, you find there's often a really steep price to pay. And I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about something way more valuable, your time and your sanity. Okay, so this is the absolute core distinction. Active business income, think of it like a hamster wheel. The second you stop running, the money stops coming in. But passive capital income, that's the real deal. That's when your money becomes your employee, not you. The problem is, the internet has totally blurred these lines, and that's exactly where the trap is set. So let's dive into our first case study. This is a big one, a major player in the whole passive income myth, the world of short-term rentals, specifically the Airbnb dream. Man, this slide just nails the gap between what people expect and what they actually get. The dream is that you're this brilliant real estate investor, kicking back while the money rolls in. But the reality, you're actually running a small hotel. And guess what? You've just hired yourself to do every single job. You're the front desk, you're the cleaning crew, you're the maintenance guy. And we're not talking about a small time commitment here. Industry data shows that if you're managing just one short-term rental yourself, you're looking at somewhere between 14 and 20 hours of work a week. Just think about that for a second. You've just signed yourself up for a part-time job, and it's a job that mostly happens at night and on weekends. So let's do the math on what you're actually earning. Let's say your place brings in a profit of $2,000 a month. Hey, sounds pretty good, right? But if you're putting in 85 hours a month to get that money, you're actually making about $23 an hour. That's not wealth creation. That's a wage that comes with all the stress and risk of owning a business. And beyond all the numbers, there's the mental cost. This quote really gets it. You are constantly on call. Every single buzz from your phone could be a great new booking, or it could be a toilet overflowing at 2 in the morning. That constant low-level anxiety, it is the literal opposite of passive. All right, let's move to our second example. The internet's favorite so-called automated business, dropshipping. The whole pitch is that you can have an online store without ever having to see or touch a single product. Forget automated. This list right here, this is your actual job description. You aren't just clicking a button. You're a market researcher, a web developer, a content creator, an ad manager, and most importantly, you're the customer service agent for some factory halfway across the world. And here's the absolute key to understanding this. You're not really in the business of selling products, because anyone can sell those same generic items. You are in the business of getting attention. That means you are on a never-ending treadmill of making TikTok videos and managing Facebook ads. The moment you stop running, the traffic stops, and so does the money. And here is the scariest part, the huge hidden risk. Your entire business is basically a house of cards built on land you don't own. It's all on platforms like Meta and Shopify. One tiny algorithm change, one new policy update, one account gets frozen for no reason, and boom, your income can vanish overnight. That's not passive. That is high-stress crisis management. Okay, so if an Airbnb is really a hospitality job and dropshipping is a marketing job, does real passive income even exist? Well, yes, it absolutely does, but it's probably not what the gurus are trying to sell you. It's kind of boring. I want you to meet the humble index fund. The whole idea is just brilliantly simple. Instead of trying to be a genius and pick the one company that's going to take off, you just buy a tiny little slice of the entire market. You get to leverage the hard work of millions of employees at companies like Apple and Microsoft, and you don't have to manage a single one of them. And the process to get started, it's so simple, it's almost funny. Setting it up is a one-time thing. The ongoing work? Maybe, an hour a year? And for the rest of the time, you do the best thing possible. Nothing. You let your money do all the work for you. When you see the time cost side by side, it's just staggering. I mean, these so-called passive hustles demand hours and hours of your week. True passive investing, it barely even shows up on the chart. Your return on time is practically infinite because the time you put in is basically zero. And here's the big paradox, right? The strategy feels almost too easy. It feels lazy. And our brains fight against that. We're all wired to believe that more effort should equal more reward. So the real work in passive investing isn't reading charts. It's having the emotional discipline to just sit on your hands and let the system do its thing. So, how can you actually use all this to make smarter choices with your own money? Well, here's a super simple framework that'll help you tell the difference between a real investment and just another job. I want you to think of it like this. You have two buckets for your money. The active bucket is for things that need your time and your labor to make money. The passive bucket is for assets that only need your capital to grow. Getting this distinction right, it's everything. Now, I'm not saying active businesses are bad, not at all. In fact, they can be absolutely crucial for building up your money when you're just starting out. But the real goal, the end game for true freedom, is to take the profits you make from all that active work and move them over into the passive bucket where they can grow on their own without you. So let's just boil this all down one last time. From now on, when you hear Airbnb, I want you to think hospitality job. When you hear dropshipping, think digital marketing job. But when you want to build real, hands-off, sleep well at night wealth, that's where things like index funds come in. And that's the question I really want to leave you with. The next time you see some new financial opportunity, just stop and ask yourself this. Am I about to build myself another job with all the stress and hours that come with it? Or am I actually buying back my time and building a life of real, genuine freedom?